follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. This show, as always, is brought to you by DraftKings. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard here with a banger lined up for you over the next 3 hours. Julian Edlow on today's NBA card in 30 minutes. Jeff Seeley, best bets at the American Express Golf Tournament. And Arash Markazi covers the LA sports scene and the Las Vegas sports scene. We'll ask about Jim Harbaugh potentially going to the Chargers as their next head coach. So Super Bowl exactas, throughout the season, they're not posted everywhere, but once they do a little bit later on in the season, they're becoming more popular to bet on from a lot of people, and I don't blame you. You want to take some shots. I went back and looked, Paulie, yesterday at how often, because I think we have it in our heads, like the one seeds make it a lot to the Super Bowl. Well, that's been more of a case lately, as it has been like throughout the history of this event. But last year, of course, we got the two number ones, Chiefs and the Eagles. In 2022, the year before that, when the Super Bowl was in LA, we had a 4 versus a 4. Both one seeds were knocked out in the divisional round. Bengals got the Titans, 49ers got the Packers. In 2021, it was the 1 versus the 5, KC and Tampa Bay. In 2020, we got the 1 versus the 2, San Francisco versus KC. In 2019, we had a 2 versus a 2. You have to go back to 2018. It was the last time before last year where we had a 1 versus a 1. That was Philadelphia, Nick Foles against New England. And then in Super Bowl 50, it was the Broncos and Panthers. Each were a 1 seed. Same with Super Bowl 49 and Super Bowl 48. So we had it 3 years in a row. But from Super Bowl 26 to last year, it's only happened 8 times. That's it.
Yeah, the history of the 1 seed coming out of the NFC is bad. That's another one.
Uh-huh.
But also, for years, and we've been doing this for 6 years on the network, we used to talk about the second round stink bombs. That's now changed a little bit. It hasn't happened, but now you have the 2 seed that doesn't get the bye as they change the format. But you went back for 20 years, and there always was somebody off the bye, 1 or 2 seed, laying a big number that would lose.
Always.
And 15-1, 14-2, 13-3. Didn't matter. They even got Tom Brady one year. They were 14-2 and lost to the Jets as the 1 seed. So that has gone away, but it certainly changed with the format. And, there's a lot of kooky stuff here, but I know here at Circa, yesterday it got as high as plus 140, the no on San Francisco-Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So will San Francisco and or Baltimore win the Super Bowl? And the no was plus 140. That came down about 15 cents.
Did you take some of it?
No, it moved. I looked. I was on air, got off air.
That was the move for you.
And it moved, I know. So you have that as well. So this is just fantastic now that we're getting into this, the history. There's a lot going on, the exactas, and we're down to 8 teams, and we got a couple big point spreads. But you can't, based on what happened since November and all the talk we had on this show about Survivor, you can't tell me you chalk's going to get there. I mean, expect the unexpected now,
right,
especially the last 3 months of the NFL season.
Now, again, and I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because we no longer have both teams, the top 2 seeds, getting a bye week in the playoffs. This is only the 4th year now where we've had 7 teams make it, meaning only the 1 seed is going to get that bye week. And so far, again, in those first 3 years, last year was the only year that we had both ones get there. The year before, it was the 4 versus the 4, and the year before that, when Tampa Bay made it, they were the 5 seed when they went to eventually play at home, basically, and they beat KC, and they killed them in that game. But so what will that bye week mean the longer this plays out, the more sample sizes we get? Like in 20 years, if we're talking about this down the road, has it been like 13 out of the 20 years the 1 seeds get it because that bye week for only 1 team is such a big deal? We don't know, but over the years in general, it's been total chaos. You're exactly right with that, and I can't believe that. So in the history of the 1 seeds getting there again, when you go back and look, early 90s, Super Bowl 26, Redskins-Bills were each the 1 seed. Super Bowl 28, Cowboys-Bills, they were each the 1 seed. Then you had to go from Super Bowl 28 all the way to Super Bowl 44 before it happened again.
It's shocking because
that was Saints-Colts.
If you're the 1 seed, all you got to do is win 2 games, and in the first game, you're a big favorite.
That's right.
So it's wild.
I mean, when the more people you talk to and you bring up on the show and you talk to people off the air as well who are pros at this stuff and they've been doing it for a long time, I've really heard a stronger case made that both one seeds like that this is the year. Like there's such a big difference between San Francisco and the field in the NFC.
Yeah.
This is not me talking. This is like responses that we've gotten.
Yeah.
And they're also super high in the Ravens.
That's how I feel. This is like was it the COVID year when Gonzaga and Baylor were so good in college basketball, and the separation and the gap between those, and they met in the title game.
They did.
And Gonzaga almost went undefeated. That would be that. It feels like this. Look what San Francisco did against everyone other than that stretch where they had guys hurt and Purdy was concussed. They destroyed Philadelphia. They embarrassed Dallas. They embarrassed Jacksonville. They embarrassed Pittsburgh. Every win they've had this year has been by double digits, but one. And that's the game the Rams kicked a field goal at the gun to put it on 7 with the nonsense by McVay. So they kill you, and then they go to work on you.
Let me ask you this. Are you concerned at all what you just brought up? Yeah, they blew out the Eagles. Yes, they blew out the Cowboys. Look at the way those two teams fizzled out.
No. If they struggled, maybe, but those games were over. 42-19, 42-10, whatever it was. They beat Tampa Bay by 2 touchdowns. I just think they're just a machine offensively. The one concern I would have would be Baltimore because of what happened, and it should be a positive in 2019. We've already seen it. 14-2, Lamar MVP, great team, unstoppable offense. Whoops, we come out flat, we turn the ball over, we get beat. Tannehill throws for 100 yards. How do we lose this game?
So then when you look at the Super Bowl exactas, you can go 49. This is at DraftKings. You can go 49ers over the Ravens. That's 4-1. You can flip it and go Baltimore over San Francisco at 5-1. If you don't think we're going to get those two teams, then you can start to move down the board a little bit more. For example, the Niners over Buffalo would be 8-1. What is the ultimate? Let me betting aside for a second here. And yes, the Super Bowl is going to be out in our backyard here in Las Vegas. What is your dream scenario Super Bowl? No bets influencing your take here.
San Francisco. Oh boy. Well, living here, it'd be bananas if Bills Mafia came to town. As I tweeted, it's in play. Don't bet Bills Lions exacta. The world will come to an end. Right after the game is played. Can you
imagine that Super Bowl?
If it's Bills Lions?
Think about that for a second.
It is the highest rated game since the last Super Bowl was the Lions game. It is the highest price ticket for a divisional round game ever. They're losing their minds in Detroit.
How about the ratings on Sunday night for that game? 36 million people watched.
Yeah.
Again,
you're talking about Super Bowl numbers. The only thing topping it, is Super Bowl.
Highest rated ratings, or highest rated game, I should say, going all the way back to last year's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that was, it helps. The storyline was awesome, and then it came down to the gun, basically.
Bills, San Francisco, Bills, Lions, San Francisco, Baltimore rematch part 2, whatever you want. But just from just a nuts, oh my God, Bills Mafia, Lions,
that's
Super
the game.
Someone's going to win a Super Bowl.
That's the game. I will say, I don't think San Francisco is the team from the NFC. I think there's a chance San Francisco could play in a pretty bad Super Bowl. Meaning that depending on their opponent in the AFC, they could run them out, and it could be 31-12 or 31-13.
Okay.
And they blow out their Is it possible for the Packers at this point to play in a bad game that's not entertaining? Not a great defense, and the way Jordan loves it. I think
maybe.
Now it's a total stretch, obviously.
Well, I think you're right. You're in the right area. Detroit.
That's another one.
Detroit they play crazy games.
See, this is what's wild about it, right? Because the Niners are so good. I think Detroit, I think Green Bay. Can Houston play in a bad game right now? Maybe Stroud would put up a stink bomb. But what are the chances that if KC gets there, it's a good Super Bowl again this year?
Yes.
They play in a lot of boring snooze fest, man.
I've had enough, and I know how the rest of the country feels. But imagine if we get stuck. Because I don't have a problem with it. I understand why they're doing it. But you watch a game and go on social media when the Chiefs are playing, and it's take the camera off her. I'm sick of this. It's enough. Stop showing the suite, all this. But can you imagine if the leading up and it's still Kelsey, Mahomes, Swift? Can they do it again? Repeat. It won't end. That'll be the other thing we have. And the perfect timing, considering they play Sunday and the rule was changed because of it, we have the new overtime rule. Well, we haven't seen it because it didn't happen last year, where both teams get the ball because of what happened. 42-36. Bills lose to the Chiefs. You know, if the game goes to overtime now, if you go down and score, I still get the ball. And if I might kick off now. I know what I need. I can then go for 2 in the win.
Right.
Or if I just score, tie, kick the extra point, then it becomes sudden death. So we get into that now, and everyone's talking about it because it was changed in March of 2000. I guess, what was it, 23?
Recently, a couple years ago.
Right, because after 22, right after that game. So, 22. So after that game, so that you have that. So there's so much going on here, even though we only have 4 games left.
Yeah, it could be like the Rose Bowl, right? When people were losing their minds. Why did Alabama not get the ball to start overtime? Because you want to know what the opposing team is going to do with the first possession in overtime. So whether or not you have to score. I do think the Lions, if they can get by Tampa Bay, I think if it's Lions, San Francisco, again, that can be a crazy enough game where it could be good weather outside, so Goff is not totally up against it. And with Dan Campbell as the head coach, I've seen crazier things happen.
I have no problem with Bills 49ers either. I think that'd be great.
That would be
any of those
quite
storylines. Even like now, Detroit Baltimore played, and it was ugly.
Well, that's the thing. I think the Niners and the Ravens can both play in the Super Bowl and have the games could be over with at halftime.
They're so good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like there's that possibility.
Yeah.
Or the Chiefs can play in a 17-13 game, but we have it in our brains that it's going to be a shootout because it's Mahomes, and that's not who they are this year.
Yeah. And maybe Baltimore and San Francisco shut down the opponent. They can't do anything, and there's just run, chew clock. You look up, it's 20-3 in the fourth quarter.
We'll recap last night's betting action, and there was plenty of it. In win some, lose some, upsets galore, ranked teams getting chalking up losses to unranked teams. Paulie runs it down for you coming up next here on VSiN.
Last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Good fun. Great videos and tweets coming up. Favorites last night in hockey, 8-0 straight up, including the Edmonton Oilers, who have won 11 in a row. Whew, what a turnaround. Incredible. They're playing great hockey. They covered the puck line as well, and they were losing in the third period. Favorites in the NBA went 3-0 straight up. The Winnipeg Jets do it again. Islanders had 2 goals early in the third period, but Winnipeg wins 4-2. 33 games in a row. They've held their opponent to 3 goals or fewer. The record's 44 by the Boston Bruins in the 1928-29 season. They've held opponents under their team total 21 in a row in regulation and 20 of 21 overall. 4-2 Jets. Come on.
And you like betting on streaks, yet you went the other way. You pulled a Costanza yesterday and went the opposite.
Yep.
Bad move.
Well, they had 2 early. At 14, 15 minutes to get another goal. Couldn't happen.
They lost. Yeah.
All right. St. Louis, 15.5 down to 11. Right side. Lost by 5 to Dayton. Syracuse money line plus 250. Beat Pitt. Penn State plus 250. Upset Wisconsin. Georgia plus 250. Beat South Carolina. Georgia Tech plus 525. Beat Clemson. Philly, Denver, over 223 up to 233. Went over. It was 78-78 at halftime. Thunder Clippers over. 226 up to 230. No, that was wrong. No good there. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. This is good. The Clippers have their new arena coming, and they had the press conference yesterday. The Inuit Dome in Inglewood, they're going to host the 2026 All-Star Game. This is a great job by Ballmer. They unveiled the wall, what it's going to look like. And it's 51 uninterrupted rows of fans. You cannot cheer for the opposing team. You cannot wear opponent gear. Tickets can only be resold in the Clippers marketplace. A season on the wall ranges from $5K to $25K. It's innovative. It's smart. They also say they can determine how long fans are standing up and who's cheering the loudest, and you get money off and discounts on memorabilia and merchandise.
So bonuses if you're like a
Yeah.
really good fan.
But this is nuts where it's 51 uninterrupted rows, and it's got to be all Clipper fans.
Right,
I
so-
can't wait to talk to Rushmark Casey about this.
So think about this, and the opposing team's going to be shooting in that direction when the game is on the line.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to create basically a really strong college atmosphere in an NBA game.
Yeah,
I would ask, why is this taking so long?
good point.
Love the idea.
Absolutely. How about this at the Indiana State game? We're on a nice run here. A guy did it for $100,000 at a Lakers game. That was his actual shot. This guy has to make a putt from the full-length court, from under the one basket to another. 10,000. He nailed it right down
Yeah.
the middle. In your face. Tiger Woods couldn't even do that.
Now this is great.
Yeah, right.
He has to split it right down the middle for 10,000.
Uh-huh.
If it goes to the left or the right in one of those two holes, $100 gift card. Here's
Quite
your
the
consolation
yeah,
prize.
Sure, quite
Set
the
of steak
difference.
knives.
Right. Oh, God. I can't believe it. That's the second time in a week that's happened at a college venue. Set of steak knives. Good. Look at that. He nailed it. Now, how about this? The other day at the airport, someone was waiting to get on their flight. They won $1 million jackpot on a slot machine. What would you do? It also was phrased, what's the first thing you would do by Las Vegas locally? I mean, you don't even tell your wife. It's like, sorry, I missed my flight. I have to hang out. You're not getting on a flight.
No, that's the
You
first
just won
thing.
$1 million.
The first thing you do is you're right there. So you go up to the gate and you say, I need a flight tomorrow or the next day. I'm staying in Vegas for a couple of more days. That's the first thing that you do. And then you get on the phone to your
You're on such a high.
whatever you do for a living.
Yeah,
And you're
right.
like, if they don't understand, then quit the job.
Yeah, right.
Right? They'll understand. If they don't, then that job's not for you.
Absolutely. A lot of people said, well, you upgrade to first class.
No,
you don't get
you're
on
not.
the
You're
plane.
gonna leave? Come on,
Yeah,
what's
getting
wrong with
on
you?
the plane? Absolutely. Play a little roulette. Syracuse Pitt over, 143 up to 148. That was no good. Lose some.
Oh, this is bad.
This was lose some. This guy thinks he's on the team. 502. How about this from the Bills game? The guy went to the game dressed up as Josh Allen, like in full gear. Look at it. He's walking around in the parking lot. He's got the helmet on, the whole outfit in uniform. It's like just sitting like, well, it's so cold, I guess. You got the guy next to the camouflage. What war are you fighting in, buddy? But look at Allen here where he's walking. The guy's dressed as Josh Allen with everything on. Thinks he's on the team. This is phenomenal video. The guy can't believe it. The guy's sitting there in his house.
What is this, a billy goat?
It's a goat. A goat came in and fit through the doggy door, and the guy says over and over again, how did you do that? How did you get in there? That is built for my small puppy, my small dog that I have. And the other two goats are like, yeah, I'm with you. How did you get in there? And the goat's walking around the house. Look at these guys. It's like, how'd you do that?
Are you kidding me?
Did you look at how
Look
does
at him
he
squeeze through?
I can't believe. If you read up on it, apparently they can contort and do weird stuff with their bodies.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know. But the goat fits through the small doggy door. The other two goats are like, I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, they're
and
like,
the
I can't
owner's
do
like,
that.
how'd you do that?
Yeah, did the goat watch the dog do this a couple times to know like that's the spot to go?
Yeah.
That's
you're
our
right.
sweet spot?
Sure. How would he even know I could?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
how that works. Good point. Look at him. That's phenomenal video. Andre will put that up later. At
Oh,
Paulie. At
it's also a
Paulie
little
Does Vegas.
scary. Like, what can get into my house when I'm not paying attention?
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. Joey Chestnut. He's been on the show many times. Professional leader. He's the best. But I didn't even know. I put under lose some. He set another record. He ate 15 bagels in 8 minutes.
Right.
I mean, when I eat a bagel, number one, it takes a while. Number two, I have to put something on it and then have something to drink and wash it down.
Sure.
He knocked down 15 bagels in 8 minutes. He has a little water. I don't see cream cheese. I don't see anything. Maybe he could dunk it in the water. I don't know.
Now, I will fully admit that I could eat at ludicrous speed. It's ridiculous. My plate or whatever is gone in 30 seconds sometimes. It takes me probably thinking about it right now, top of my head, it takes me at least 4. It's so dry, and you got to chew it so often. How do you possibly put down one bagel in like a minute? He's doing one every 30 seconds.
I know. Well, when you Google his record, the list, all the records he has, competitive eating, it's how could he eat this? How could he? It's nuts.
Yeah, that one I can't comprehend.
Bad beats, here it is. Kings money line. They were up 22 with 8 minutes left. They were up 113.96 with 5 minutes left. From the 8-minute mark on, they were outscored 32-8. Suns won. You covered with the 4. but the Suns won 119 to 117. Up 22 with 8 minutes. Everything has to go wrong. And it did.
By the way, in regulation.
Yeah.
So if you bet the Kings, the last thing on the planet that you wanted was overtime. Imagine losing that one ATS.
No kidding. TCU +3. You never want the dog in overtime since he got him by 4 in overtime. And go back and up the Thunder Clipper game, 226 up to 230.
Yeah.
My mistake, 220, and that won.
There were two unranked teams went off the favorite last night against ranked teams. They both won and covered. That was always a thing when I first moved out to Las Vegas.
Yes.
You get to know people. They're like, hey, pay attention to this angle. Cincinnati won and covered last night. They're unranked. And the other one was K-State. They went out the favorite against Baylor. They won in overtime and covered.
Yes. If you're looking for a betting edge through the playoffs, we have you covered. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Access to the daily best bets with the leaderboard, who has the hot hand, the betting splits, the 24/7 video access. First 30 days, $9.99. VSiN.com/subscribe. Sign up now.
All right, so we were talking about Super Bowl exactas in the first segment to begin the show today, and some books leave these up throughout the entire year, others don't. But if you pay attention, this is a message that I got during the first break that we had. Back in September, this person bet the Niners over the Ravens, Paulie, at 149 to 1.
Wow.
That was available back in September. He bet it twice.
This is also great to hedge if you have a couple tickets.
Yeah.
Also, once you get down to 4 maybe, or you can even get nuts and do it here if you have so many teams.
He took a swing at Niners over the Bills, 79 to 1. So you throw a little pizza money on those bets. So he's holding 2 tickets at 149 to 1. That's now the favorite on the board at 4 to 1. Wow.
Yep. You asked me how would I feel about a Houston Green Bay. I don't like it, but it's also with these two hot quarterbacks that you're in the 250 to 1 range there.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of like how would that game be boring?
Yeah, right.
I don't know how it would be. Barring an injury to either one of the quarterbacks, they're going to play in fun, entertaining games and probably go up and down the field on both defenses.
The 2 years Eli Manning and the Giants won Super Bowls, they were, I think, a 4 seed and a 5 seed.
Oh.
So they came out of nowhere and just got hot at the right time.
Sure. Yep. Now, these other years that we talked about, when the Rams did it as a 4 seed a couple years ago, remember the NFC was absolutely loaded. And you could have made a case for the top 4 or 5 seeds. The Niners were a 6 seed that year.
Yeah, beat Green Bay and Dallas, right?
And they were awesome. So this year, not exactly the case.
Yes.
Up next, Julian Edlow is going to join the program. He joins us every single Wednesday at this time. It's a loaded NBA card. We'll get his best bets, his take on player props as well. That's coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. New customers bet $5, get $200 instantly. No sweat, same game parlay every single day. Download the app, use code VEGAS. Also, will an octopus happen? Is up for every playoff game. 12 to 1, 13 to 1 for the 4 games. You get the touchdown and then the 2-point conversion. DraftKings Sportsbook, code VEGAS. There you go. All right, this is going to be fun.
Okay, we'll have fun with this. Yeah, you're exactly right. Thanks to CKP Sports for sending me this on X. The Kirk Cousins curse. Oh, it is real and it is spectacular. No team has lost to Kirk Cousins and played in the Super Bowl the same year.
No.
Vikings 22.
No.
49ers 17.
No.
Oh, that means it cannot happen this year, Paul.
Oh, God. Of all the things, right? They go back and look.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah. Okay.
Did not know that curse existed.
All right. Well, he's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was it was a strange result. They were banged up and certainly ultimate what could have been season for the Vikings if they stayed healthy. Whew. Scary.
Niners bets are dead. Sorry.
Yep.
I had to be the bearer of bad news.
Eagles have their exit interviews today. Sirianni will meet with his players and then his coaches. Then he meets with the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, and Howie Roseman, the GM. Sal Pell on Friday. Can't wait. He has to make changes to his coaching staff. He has to work on his relationship with Hurts. I mentioned it several times yesterday. That ESPN.com article dropped day of the game. Hurts was asked if he was unhappy with the direction of the offense. He didn't deny it. Then there's problems with Sirianni. Lurie went into his exit interview with Doug Peterson after the 2020 season, expecting to keep him. He wasn't satisfied with Peterson's coordinator candidates. He then fired him. Sirianni better come heavy. He better have a good idea and list about who he's looking at with directions of who's the OC, the DC, specifically the DC. Now, people, Eagles fans chiming in, Frank Reich, Ron Rivera, but this is, you got to make the owner happy. Or it could be, what have you done for me lately? I don't care. You went to the Super Bowl. You're out, pal.
We're also getting the same question from a bunch of people asking, reaching out. And that question is, what exactly does Sirianni do?
Yeah, right.
With the team.
Right. Because you saw how big Gannon and Steichen were.
Not in charge of the offense, not in charge of the defense. Is he the rah-rah guy? Is he supposed to make sure that Dom's on the sidelines every game?
Mm-hmm.
Get him his field pass?
It is a circus. That guy was also involved as well and getting suspended and what happened. But he's also a weird guy, right? The bizarre press conference when he's introduced, he blew that. You're talking trash to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Hurts has to come over and tell you to calm down. You know, he's screaming in the playoff game against the Giants, I know what I'm bleeping doing. I got, calling the timeout. And then you're 10-1, and the wheels come off, and you got the stuff with A.J. Brown, and maybe you lost the locker room. And maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. But the fact that every guy is asked about it and has to come out, some guys defend you, and then the A.J. Brown stuff, it's a mess.
Right. So that also, like, in terms of handicapping and down the stretch, we talked to the Booby Prize winner last week on the show. And good job by them because they were trying to win that award or that prize, which was $100,000 for the worst picks of the entire year here in Circa Millions. And we asked them about fading Philadelphia. And they're like, oh, we were eventually, we were actually picking them every single week thinking that they would be another loser. So, like, where does your brain go in terms of short-term lack of success compared to what the team was like early in the season, what they were last year? Because that completely flipped on a dime with this team. And I know it's easy to say now, we did bring it up last week, and plenty of people did, like, how are the Eagles favored? Didn't Peter King write about that in his column?
Yeah.
He's like, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life in terms of gambling.
The meltdown, yeah.
That they're favored against Tampa Bay.
He wrote about that, and then also the meltdown. I mean, it's only happened 3 times. You're 10-1, and then you lose 4 or 5, 5 or 6, and then 0-7 ATS to close out. Yeah.
Right. And I will say that typically once it catches on mainstream like that, it's going to go the opposite way. For example, everybody on SportsCenter picked the Buccaneers. Yeah. Every single team, every single person on that show picked them, and they got there.
And this is the one instance where you have to look at the former player, right? Aikman was great talking about how old they are, guys still on the team when I was around, also the body language like they didn't want to be there. And Peyton Manning was great too. It's just stubborn and stupidity to go empty every play that you're inviting the blitz, and they had no answer. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
You hit the one long shot to Smith. Other than that, you did nothing. And then, again, this is where I don't fault him. I'm not going to kill him for this. But other people are pointing out, twice you took points off the board, and it went against you. So it was just how they lost, how it ended, and they looked horrible on Monday night.
Based on how the defense performed for 2 straight months, including that playoff game.
Patricia thing was a bad move, too.
They were not winning that game.
No.
I don't care what he did with the points. But the tackling on some of those long receptions for the Buccaneers, again, you're cut from your high school team if you play like that. That's how awful they were. So now, again...
all-time bad. I've never seen anything like it. No hyperbole. That was the worst display of tackling you're ever going to see. And taking angles, bad angles,
and running into each other.
Down. Again, they had that too on the touchdown. Tampa had 157 yards after contact. It's a travesty what happened. Mm-hmm. All right, let's stay in that area. Bill Barnwell, ESPN, put up a poll, 60,000 views. Who's the starting quarterback for the Steelers next year, week 1? 23% Justin Fields. 20% Kenny Pickett. 5% Mason Rudolph. What were you watching the last month? Somebody else, 51%.
Yeah, somebody else has to be the favorite. I don't know. I mean, if Tomlin's going to come back and play out his contract, 1 year left, it cannot be with the 2 quarterbacks they had this year. I'm not even include Trubisky. It can't be Rudolph. It can't be Pickett. It's got to be somebody else.
Concur. Now, this is where it gets wild. You mentioned the Cousins thing. The Viking fans are already up in arms. Don't even mention Russell Wilson. Maybe there's something where Cousins could go to Atlanta And that really, maybe that's out. Maybe that's why Belichick wants that as well. But who does Atlanta get? What happens there? What do the Bears do with Fields? But, Russell Wilson, other quarterbacks could be out there. Some of these landing spots, this is where it's fascinating.
So, wait.
Then the offseason.
So
what could
Vikings,
happen.
this is typical for any fan base, right? Pretty much.
Right.
Vikings fans don't want Kirk Cousins. They haven't wanted him for like 3 years now.
We got to pay him a lot of money. That's one thing.
Sure.
Yeah, he only has one playoff win.
They absolutely don't want Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So then what's their answer then?
Don't know.
Well,
Certainly not Mullins or Hall. Not Dobbs.
You want to trade for Patrick Mahomes? Would that make him happy?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But they're more, and this is, good point. And Paul Charchian, who's on tomorrow, K-fan in Minneapolis. They've been doing this his entire tenure there, though. They're not fans of Cousins.
That's what I'm saying.
And it drives them nuts with the contract.
Right.
But what are the alternatives? If you're going to, I don't blame you, but you want any part of Russell Wilson, well, then who do you want?
Would Kirk Cousins go to Atlanta and put up good numbers?
Oh, yes.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh,
he would.
absolutely.
Like, I don't know how many wins they would have, but
Yeah.
he would have good numbers at the end of the year if he stayed healthy.
Right. And just to think, you're going from Art Smith to Belichick? And then what also
that happens,
even, and then whoever the OC is going to be or the head coach, how to utilize those weapons and what they have? Robinson, Pitts, London. Oh,
Now, you brought something up off the air earlier today. Is this like thrown out there about a team potentially seeing if they can Reich as the OC, Rivera as the DC? Is that
well,
kicked
that's
around?
internet conjecture, yeah. And it's a wish list that fans make, or also possible media guys of what they could do.
Yeah.
It went well the first time around for Reich in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason he got the Colts job.
Well, and again, I will point this out, as I always do, like just because you're a good coordinator doesn't mean you're going to be a good head coach.
Yes.
Some people were born to be really good coordinators, and
Norv
maybe
Turner.
that would be the case.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting that it's, well, I'll bring you back, but what's your game plan to turn this around, and who are you going to hire? The thing that the most ridiculous stat you're ever going to see is how many screen passes the Eagles threw this year, which resulted in negative yardage on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're throwing 500 screen passes. It's like, teams are watching your game film every week.
They know it's coming.
I mean,
it's kind of
God.
predictable.
Yeah.
Will we have a coach or a team fill their head coaching opening by Friday at the end of this show?
Yes.
So
Maybe
that's-
multiple.
That's 48 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, you think? Will we come in tomorrow and somebody's going to have a new head coach?
By end of business tomorrow, yes.
Okay.
Finally. Gets the ball moving. Where does Belichick go? Where does Harbaugh go? And let's go. Get this going.
If the Chargers allow this to linger with Harbaugh and cannot lock him down,
Oh, it's bad.
the longer it goes on, the less I like their chances.
Yep. You fired him so early. And now if you can't pin him down, and
I asked some people here in town if they would rather have Antonio Pierce and Harbaugh. They gave me Antonio Pierce. And I thought they're out of their minds.
Las Vegas fans?
Oh,
Raiders?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you don't want Harbaugh, who is a proven winner. You can't ignore what he's done. He will turn wherever he goes
I
into
know.
a winner.
He will, but he has leverage. But this, I'll take the job if I get J.J. McCarthy.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know about this now.
I don't know if I'm buying that either.
Okay.
In Pocket plays are coming next here, and Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The guy has an algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're on.
All right. I'm in the penalty box. I've been telling you for 6 years, bet on streaks. Roulette. Sports. Highlanders team total over 2.5. Loser. 2. Winnipeg Jets, what a story. They had 2 with 15 minutes left. Couldn't get the other one home. So and the streak goes on, and the beat goes on, and the beat goes on. How good is this, right? What a story. The winner. There are so many great stories in hockey. Edmonton 11 in a row. Florida playing great hockey. Bruins in first place. Winnipeg. San Jose's lost 15-16. Vancouver's in first place.
By the way, isn't that funny? And like the coaching carousel in the NHL or the life expectancy of a coach with one team could be 18 months. Who the hell knows? I mean, Vegas ran Gerard Gallant out of town, and he took them to the Stanley Cup Finals in their expansion year. So forget about it. But when a team fires their coach in any sport, like the Edmonton Oilers did a while back now, like, do they do this if they never made that move?
That's funny you bring that up because they asked McDavid and others, did he lose the locker room? They said no. Well, there was clearly something wrong.
Yeah.
Tampa +6. I'd love to see Detroit make a run. It's also a mini hedge. It's up to 6.5 now. I think it's too many points, but I also have a big future on the Lions. Okay, all the new stuff. Every team to score a touchdown this weekend. Yes, -$2. Let's get it again. It won last week. Now, this is surprising. I like both of these. Will Jordan Love throw an interception? No. +125. He's got one the last 9 weeks. Will C.J. Stroud throw an interception? No. +125. And we're back. Got a little bit of a lull here with the soccer. League One. Peterborough, Shrewsbury Town over 2.5. Apologize for the juice. Jimmy Crack Corn, let's just cash the ticket. 13 of the last 14 matches, Peterborough has gone over 2.5 goals. It's our new Cheltenham Town. Let's go. Over 2.5 Saturday, League One, Peterborough, Shrewsbury Town. All you can eat.
All right, best of luck. Got a winner last night in college basketball. Went to overtime.
Never in doubt.
Okay, but they did go off as the favorite for what it's worth. I got +1.5 on the show yesterday. Beat Baylor in OT. That was a winner yesterday. And as for tonight, I'm going to battle with the Jazz -3.5 at home against the Warriors. Who knows? Could be the wrong time to step in here on this show with Utah and bet them 16-4 at home. ATS, best team in the NBA. They are covering by 9.7 points per game at home. Warriors are a total mess right now. Do they get it right tonight? Maybe, but I'll bet against it and have done so with the Jazz -3.5.
There you go. Well done. Start your morning with a daily dose of winning strategies, insider tips, and the latest buzz with the free VSiN Daily newsletter. Any question you want about the website and the app, contact Bill 80. Get expert analysis and the latest odds delivered straight to your inbox, absolutely free. VSiN.com/newsletter to subscribe. Zach Lowe, Brian Windhorst, very good covering the NBA. Love them. Really like their podcast. Zach Lowe also echoing your sentiments. It's the end of a dynasty. It's over. Windhorst won't go that far. Saying, I've seen it before where teams can turn it around, even in January and February. We saw it last year with the Lakers, although they made some trades. It's just, Thompson, it's over. Draymond Green's a mess. And all these picks haven't worked out. There's infighting as well. And again, the schedule has been a joke as far as it's been very easy. Still losing record.
Okay, so I'm looking right now at updated odds, one sportsbook in Las Vegas to win the Western Conference. Are you ready to either laugh out loud or I don't know what the reaction is going to be here, to be honest, because I couldn't believe what I was looking at last night.
This is last night.
This is updated as we speak up to the second.
Okay.
To win the Western Conference, Nuggets +165. Lakers +350. Warriors +375.
Oh.
Clippers +375. T-Wolves 5-1. Suns 6-1. OKC 9-1. Mavericks 15. Kings 17. Pelicans 18. What on earth do they have a glitch in their system?
That's left right from August. That's September.
Maybe they haven't updated. I don't know what the problem is here.
Well,
but this should be obvious to everybody in the audience. The worst imaginable bet that you could ever make, I think, in the history of this show right now would be the Lakers at +350, the Warriors +375 to win the Western Conference. Either one of those. Those are
Golden State.
They might want to hit refresh on their system wherever they do that.
Oh, wow. It reminds me of a lot of when Tiger Woods was involved, but you see these golf futures where like there are 5 guys that are like 5 or 6 to 1 to win a golf tournament. At DraftKings, Golden State's 3-1 to make the playoffs. Oh, boy.
And +375
right.
another book to win the West.
Yeah, we talked about it Monday. You know the house rules and have as many outs as possible. And I brought up the Aaron Jones prop that scored 3 touchdowns. I saw 18-1. I saw 55-1.
Good point.
I mean,
now,
it's just...
we did this a couple of weeks ago. We're like drawing lines through teams in the Western Conference, right? And because we were making the case for the Thunder, the T-Wolves, the Clippers, and I was drawing lines through a bunch of these teams. One was Golden State. One was current state of the Lakers, unless they make a move. We brought up the Suns, and we said at the time they were not great, but we did not see enough of their big three, obviously. So we did not draw a line through the Phoenix Suns. We thought about it, but said we need a bigger sample size, obviously, because Beal was never playing and whatever. How dangerous do you think long-term this year the Suns are in the Western Conference, as long as those three guys stay healthy? It's a big if. I'm throwing it out there, but...
No depth.
Depth has not been great.
You saw what happened last year. Take out after the first round, it's such a condensed schedule. And if you're playing every other night then, and these guys are going to play so many minutes, I hate to say it, but I think the injury was coming with Durant. He's playing so many minutes, and he had to carry him while Beal was out. And you still see, 4 or 5 back of the Clippers. We got to go to L.A. and do a show if the Clippers make the finals, especially if it's Clippers-Boston. Oh, that'd be great. Do the road trip. But I'm loving what I see from the Clippers. I know we both got futures on the T-Wolves. That's a great story. That's real. I mean, we're almost, we get to the deadline coming up, and then we get the All-Star break. You come back, there's only like 20 games left.
So imagine what that stretch of sports would be like. Hell is going to freeze over.
Yes.
If we get the tortured fan base Super Bowl, Bills-Lions, and a couple of minutes later the Clippers are playing in the NBA Finals, something freaky is going to happen.
We've been here before, too. Clippers have choked in the playoffs.
Sure.
And this team has all kinds of issues, and Paul George and Kawhi have to stay healthy. That's first thing first. But
so to flip it, if you want to do the tortured fan base parlay this weekend, that would be Chiefs on the money line to beat the Bills.
Right.
And the Buccaneers to beat the Lions outright. That pays around plus 670. We'll call it the tortured fan base parlay.
I hope they can win. I'd love to see it again. I've had Chiefs fatigue for so long. I think that most of the country does now. But this would be just phenomenal if the Bills can do this, make a deep run.
So I ranked the quarterbacks earlier.
That's right.
You said I was going to put Josh Allen too high. I had him third.
Yep.
Where would you have him? Remaining quarterbacks in the playoffs.
God, I put my list together. I gave up. It's so hard.
It's very difficult. Because if you go based on this year and look at it like advanced stats, Brock Purdy's going to win everything. But also I think going on EPA is just like EPA stats for 1 year is watch the games also. And EPA doesn't tell you the entire story.
They're on a great streak and a nice run, but it's also been, using the running game, using Allen's legs and feeding Cook. And the silly turnovers continue to happen. He did not play well against Miami. That was 14-7 in the fourth quarter. The punt return changed the whole game.
I think there's a good chance they lose that game without the punt return.
Probably.
Would you have Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen?
Oh.
We only have 8 quarterbacks remaining.
I know. I see the report. He's got a different look in his eye, and he's motivated and everything. What happened in 2019, I think I would. It's tough, though. But you can't get away from the turnovers and the interceptions and the dumb throws. That's a big reason why they were 6-6 to start.
Here's the tweet, by the way. Last 3 years, Lamar Jackson, ATS, is a favorite of 7 or more points.
Yep.
1-9, ATS.
Yep. Well, Josh Allen was 0-9, and they got the cover last week. But I know that's alarming. But they also have a nasty defense.
If we get Buffalo and Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl, which guy are you going to trust more in that game?
I'll go Lamar at home.
At home? Because it's at home?
Right. Now, Allen beat him on the road. He did not play well in that game. Lamar threw a pick 6 in that game, and the Bills won. I loved Baltimore in that game. And Allen beat him and outplayed him. And Allen has been awesome against Kansas City. Who can forget the Gabe Davis game? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's a tough call. But expect the unexpected, though. Maybe Stroud is Superman. Maybe Love does it again. Maybe Baker plays well against a bad Detroit defense.
If you miss any of the show, you can search Follow the Money wherever you get your podcast. Good luck tonight.